Hey Marvin,
Hey,
guess
man.
what? Wrong studio, wrong intro.
That was Tuesday. It's all good.
hey, hey everyone, welcome to Sometimes You Have to Lose Yourself podcast. My name is Tyler Perry, and my other host right over here, the good-looking dude of the podcast, that's Marvin Speller,
Thank you,
Coach
sir.
M100. He's definitely the cream of the crop and one of my aces. I love doing podcasts with him. We get to talk about many things, and what's going on, man? How was your day?
Day was well, man. No complaints. Actually, the day was a little bit slower for me, and a lot of different things. So it was good. Kind of get a midweek breather, and you like kind of exhale. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was great so far. Out here in LA, we're right at 3 o'clock. So you guys are heading into the evening.
Yeah. Uh the craziest thing is I like my schedule, and you know started getting home about an hour earlier than before from work, and looks like they're gonna boost my schedule in about a week or so. So I'm gonna go back to a later time, and
Oh, okay.
but no big deals. It's as I say, when you're traveling, when I'm driving at work, more miles, more money. So I'll take it.
That's true. That's true. What time do you get up in the morning?
Usually five in the morning. Michelle's probably up an hour before that. So
Oh, nice.
yeah. So, but I don't mind. I'm working. That's
That's important.
all that matters.
Yeah. You're working. That's what matters, man. Is Paula joining us today?
You know what? Hmm, I think I sent her the link.
Okay.
I'm not well. If she comes on, if I see her in the comments, I'll just send her the link.
Okay. Cool.
Not sure. Um,
Cool.
the let's see. All right, we have things to talk about. Got frequencies and tones. We got your book. We have and probably something else. But this is definitely our topics today, everyone, and we're gonna get started with it. So let's see.
You
All
you
right,
copied me on Facebook, correct? For my
what's
page.
that?
You copied. You sent the link. I mean, I'm sorry. You when you started this, you sent it to my page, right?
Let me just double check it.
That way, so I can make sure I approve it.
Yeah, I'll copy. There we go. All right, let's copy the link. Bang. Looks for the coach. And there we go.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
All right.
So
So you want to kick it off, and we'll get going, man. We'll get
yeah,
this.
all right, let's go. The I was listening to so many podcasts today. I was laughing my butt off today during work, and
Laughter's good.
I like Big Boy TV, and uh, he had Godfrey on there and Joe
Mm.
Coy, and they were just making me laugh, man. Their impersonation sound just so genuine. I mean, like it's when he's talking about Richard Pryor, I mean, it's like they said, if the dude got on the phone, man, he could make some money, or people would just believe it was him. He's doing Steve Harvey, but all in
Yeah,
all, it was just great podcast. So
he's great. I mean, my goodness, he's great, and he's sincere too. That helps a lot.
yeah, it is. It's but I love it. Like if I have to if I have to watch podcasts, that's what I'm gonna do, instead
Yeah.
of regular public TV. Um, all right, Coach. I want you to define frequencies and tones. First subject, what we're going to talk about. And I,
Okay.
I have an idea what you're saying, but let's help out with the audience and
I'm gonna make this as simple as possible because this thing can run long and deep. Okay.
mhm.
Have you seen the movie Sinners yet?
No, I that
Yeah.
right off the bat. I mean, I was like into it. I was appealing to it. What's up, Gordon? How you doing? Um,
They
the
going down.
Yep, good friend of mine, good chef, big. He's just crazy. Marvin, I don't have enough time to tell you about Gordon Woodbury.
Well,
But
see. Let's start with that because we're gonna make this simple for everybody.
all right,
We're gonna make this simple tones and frequency, like someone's 100 years old. You're trying to explain it to them.
all right.
Have you ever had a dish, the same type of dish from two different people, and you tell me what's the difference?
Oh yeah. Let's see. One dish could be
Same dish though. Same dish.
same dish,
Same,
right?
same dish. Two different people. What do you get from that,
Different taste.
and why?
Somebody may add seasoning, somebody may
No,
not.
it's the same dish. Same dish.
Same exact thing.
Yes. What could be the difference? The essence, right?
Yeah. Yep.
What they put into it, right? That's kind of the simplest form of tones and frequencies, right? Everything in the universe is a tone and frequency, right?
hmm
Or vibration, right? You would agree that everything is about energy, right?
Yes.
Everything has energy to it. I'm not
From
going
the in,
to. I'm
from
not
the
going.
inside and outside of your body, energy.
Exactly. I'm not going to go into the whole thing about all the way down to past the atoms and biots and quarks and all that. That doesn't matter. What matters is that everything's about tones and frequencies. The reason why I reference Sinners, because that movie really went into a lot about tones and frequency from a culture perspective and also from a perspective of music, right? Music is something that has a certain frequency, right? Some of those frequencies in the music, right? Um, when you go back into the 30s, music was a little bit slower, and over time, it sped up over time. And at some point, when that music back then was very healing and soothing, and then all of a sudden, music changed. Music changed for a lot of time. A lot of times, the frequency, and sometimes it was sped up. Certain hertz make a difference in how people feel, right?
Yes.
And so it kind of goes back to what we are talking about before with grief, right? When depending on what's happening or how you're viewing and looking at it, your body goes into this thing of either parasympathetic or sympathetic nervous system, right? Sympathetic is more or less fight or flight.
Okay.
Sympathetic brings you to a point where you're not supposed to be in that place for too long, right? Say at some point, and that's the very ancient part of our brain, really sympathetic. Fight or flight. If you're getting chased by something, there's something inside your body that starts to activate. Your blood pressure goes up and all these other things. You need to get this blood in your body to just get to where you need to get to, right?
Understandable.
So, and so and so certain things that come down and you're in that sympathetic mode sometimes, it's not good for you because it's only supposed to be a temporary state. Okay. Now, when you're at that place, right? And this is what I was talking about with grief before. When you stay in that sympathetic mode. Now, when you start to think about people who have lost people, especially widows and widowers, whoever's on one side, whoever stays from a physical standpoint, because understanding tones and frequencies, energy never dies, right? So you still have the essence the person lives on. But when you're in this place of losing someone very close to you, whether it's a friend, family, or wife, or whatever, you stay in this sympathetic mode for quite some time, man. And this is why people don't make it. There's so many cases, there's so many studies around people who just don't make it. They just don't, and there's many different terms for that. The reason why they don't make it, because when your body's in that sympathetic nervous system for so long, you start to get inflammation in your body.
Hmm.
You start to have these your hormonal balance is messed up. You really start to lose a lot of things within you. Your blood pressure goes up. I mean, your body starts to not operate because you're only supposed to be in that place for a short period of time. Now, if you were being chased and your body goes into the sympathetic standpoint, how long could you run away from somebody? Or say it's a bear, how long could you run away?
Not too far.
Maybe a couple minutes max, right?
Yeah.
Could you run for days, Charlie?
No.
Exactly. Imagine this is the toll that you're putting on your body and stress that you're putting on your body when you're that way. And this is what happens and why a lot of people don't make it when it comes to losing someone very close to them. Or at best, your lifespan is shortened because you're at that place. So it's kind of a simplest form, I would say, looking at tones and frequencies, right? Everything is made out of tones and frequencies. Hell, when you were born to a certain frequency, right? And so you think about when you go back to listen to some of this music and you're looking at the tones and frequency, sometimes it's how you feel from having that experience. Certain music, listen, man, I feel good today. I listen to all that. Or if you're meditating, put yourself in a different frequency. It's like turning a dial on a radio and you're trying to get a station, you're trying to get to a better place. That's kind of the tones and frequency. The frequency you want to get to is the one that's going to make you feel better because that's what you're trying to dial into. And so you're either going to be in parasympathetic or you're going to be in the sympathetic frequency. And that's what's going to make a difference. I will be the first one to admit, being a widower for the longest time, man, I was in that frequency of sympathetic. Yeah. And I had to make a decision whether I was going to make it or not. Because
it will boomerang though. It'll come back to you.
What's that?
With the grieving of being a widower and that frequency and that tone.
Yes.
At the beginning stage may come back to you, may come right back and boomerang in the same way that it did before, only because something reminds you or
you get that anyway. So you kind of work through that piece because everybody's going to go through grief a certain way. Everybody is granted that, man. And I chose is like, I have more to do on this planet. I have more to see, more to help out with. During that time I was going through, I had to really buckle down and really help my daughter with a lot of different things.
True.
And so my hand was forced. It was either you were going to make it through or you weren't going to make it. It was that simple, man. It was either or. It was no in between. It wasn't like, well, you're going to kind of do this. And so that doesn't take away from the fact that grief is a part of you and you live through it the rest of your life. It's a part of your experience. And sometimes you got to break to be rebuilt, man. And sometimes you're rebuilt in a different way. And so that's the experience that of going through and the experience that I'll carry the rest of my life. I'm not that same dude that was before. Maybe the majority makeup of me, absolutely, but no. It's like sometimes you have to be broken in order to be rebuilt. And that's why we chose that title, right? Sometimes you find yourself from being broken. And so I had this thing. I remember Liz and I were talking about this when we were going through, our podcast and all that. I had this thing called a grief creep. And I was talking to someone about this yesterday. It's like, I don't know, it's a term that just hit me. It shows up. It could show up as like, damn, you suck. You know what? Now use more you could have done. It's all sorts of things that all these people that go through, these are things that are being said, and these are things that most people don't want to talk about. I'm okay. I'm doing better. I'm getting there. Well, in that process of getting there, it's ugly and rocky, man. It really is. And like I said, I had too many people tell me it's like, hey, listen, you're here. You still have a chance to make it through, and you know need it, and the world needs you. And so, and I know darn well my daughter at the time needed me. So like I said, Charlie, my hand was forced. It was like, listen, and I had certain interventions along the way that people was like, okay, you're okay. So you will get this pat on the back uh, from a regular spiritual etherical world. You get you get these things that come over time. That's never to say that grief is an easy road. I want to be very clear. It is the hardest thing I have ever gone through in my life. There's not even there will never be a close second.
Yeah, exactly. The um there's one thing, just these past couple of weeks and going through grieving, close friend, my aunt, my great aunt, my grandmother's sister, and so one thing you know, most of the family got together and we're talking, discussing different things and how important this, she was in my auntie. And the some people that you believe is closest to her don't have that same essence about her, or and then we're like, we can't understand it. We're like, she done so many for so many people, and here you are, you're the closest, and you feel different.
Mm,
I mean,
yeah,
we people,
thank you for
gotta,
sharing.
we don't all, we, you don't know a person till you live with them, right? That's the saying.
Hmm.
And so I can't make a judgment call, but um, that was kind of, it still affects me every day, because I'm still thinking about it. Something that didn't get resolved. It's still in my head about why this woman, my great aunt, is not getting her flowers. She deserves them. She deserves them.
Mm, wow, Charlie, you hit something on the head, brother. I'm
Mhm.
glad you do it. This is why people say to me, it's like for sharing. I do this with everybody. I share people's greatness all the time.
Mhm.
And you think I'm not going to do for the best person I ever met? That
Yeah.
doesn't. You can choose to deal with things how you deal with. To your point, you're going to feel that. That's all a part of that journey of grief. You're going to feel like some people are dismissive. That's their way of handling grief. Um, some people will share and all that, and some people want to keep the damn thing hidden. I was
Mm.
like, I'm not hiding anything.
Yeah.
I'm out here trying to help people, and by helping people is showing people how gritty this stuff is. And so I would always share with anybody, share your feelings. They're your feelings. And before I would care what people think. Now I don't really care. If I share my feelings and I think you could have done better, and um, and I see that, sometimes with um people or family members, and
Yeah.
some of them are just not. It's their way of processing it, but that's on them. Doesn't stop doesn't stop you from honoring them the best way you can. And it's such a different dynamic here because my dynamic has changed over time. Where it's like I see the one side where the physical person is not here, and you have to go through that whole period of time and all that. But you also, it, it's also one of these things, man. There is a non-physical part of a person, and this is when we talk about tones and frequencies that keep them more relevant. I have this song I listen to all the time. When one of my family members going through something, I listen to this song, and it brings up a lot of different things of what they say or what they would say. And
Mhm.
like I said, this whole thing of unpacking this thing runs deep. And so there's that non-physical part that you can still connect with. And many people have talked about this, and some people would say that's, well, that doesn't make sense. But all throughout all the religious texts, they've always talked about the non-physical things of certain things, whether it were teachers, scribes, angels, learned men, or
Mhm.
something. They always talk about that. They've always talked about frequencies. They always talk about the non-physical aspect. Sometimes they get lost when we're going through grief. I'll be the first one to say that. You know what I'm saying? And there was a lot of things that triggered me. Smell, going different places, having my buddy with me and all that. But you also realize, that there's a non-physical aspect of that.
True. The let me see. One of the things I came up with is how can individuals intentionally shift their frequencies to improve their well-being?
Thank you for asking that. You have to look at a sliding scale of kind of the emotions you're going to,
Mm,
or be in a place where you're going through life and you're doing things that's feeling downstream instead of upstream.
yeah,
Focus on the resistance, but really a lot has to do how you feel. And this is like the most important thing. There is no secondary thing. How you feel. You can get in that certain place, and it goes back to the sympathetic part of your nervous. You have less inflammation in your body. You have less things that cause you to have health problems if you can get in that place of being the sympathetic nervous system. That's just joy, laughter. I mean, how many times do we do the laughter? How many times do we do stuff that's fun?
mhm,
This whole thing people have talked about for quite some time now is self care, but just getting that place, of just doing something for your family. How you feel matters more than anything. Anything. If there's one thing you can do, how you feel every single day. You can get that many different ways. You can meditate. You can say affirmations. You can do a talk in the mirror yourself, how much you love yourself, right? Hey, I love you. You can high five yourself on the way out the door. See a mirror, high five yourself, have a great day. There's the little things you can do at anything. And the worst that could come from that is that over time, you get to be in this place where you're changing your whole script of life. You're changing this certain things because you're wired a certain way all the time. It could be something on the news, it could be something political, something someone had, someone cut you off in traffic. It could be all these different things. And sometimes we have to rewire ourselves and really get to that better place, that better feeling self. It could be a rampage of appreciation. It could be somebody you never met on the street, you say hi to them. It could be something, and see that's something that can help them as well. And it's helping you too. I mean, you think about it. You think about Charlie, you're out in public and somebody you never met, they got a good vibe. Of when you feel that vibe, right? That's the frequency. You feel that. And and they smile at you. Hey, how you doing today? How does that make you feel? It's those
good.
type of things. And honestly, especially when you're going through grief, that type of thing. And when you can elevate your frequency by doing these simple things day by day, these are things that make a difference for your health. And it affects people around you as well. I talk about I'll talk about a lot of those things and frequencies and all that in my book. Because if there was one thing I would say that really helped me was my affirmations, man.
Mhm,
Affirmations connecting to the inner child. That was everything. And you start to feel better because you feel like you're reprogramming yourself.
yeah,
Anytime you can reprogram yourself, because you're already getting programmed anyway, right? You already know,
mhm,
by what you heard somewhere, you know what good is, you know what bad is, you know what happy, you know what say. You can. I mean, you have your own script in life, man. You are your greatest storyteller. Tell a story that's going to benefit you, not a story. I mean, you think about the self-talking. Anytime you put "I am" in front of something, that's like a declaration, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can say, "I'm tired. I'm frustrated. You know, I'm pissed off at you.
Yep.
You know, I'm lonely." It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, man, and it's that simple. Words matter. Words mean things. Words carry frequencies. And this is what I'm saying. Getting your frequency to a certain place is going to be everything, man.
Exactly. It's what's the kid say? Well, you got to put it out there, right? And even if it's good, bad, and ugly, you put something out there, it's gonna stay there till you change it. And the I try to when I catch myself kind of fading into a negative space, try to music is my thing.
There you go.
Music gets me. Music is no matter how many times you heard your favorite song or you listen to music on your favorite station, you still listen to the words, you still catch a lyric,
Yeah.
and it all changes, just changes that negativity that I may have and that I'm listening to. Um, and it,
Frequency. There you
yeah,
go. There you go again.
exactly. Yeah, but see, it's weird how we you mentioned the radio earlier, turn in dial on radio. I'm talking about music.
Mhm.
It's all related, all the same thing. So,
Yeah,
um,
it's man, it's yeah. I do a lot of music to get me in a certain place, and man, you know, things I knew all the time, but going through this journey, Charlie, I threw everything at the damn wall, man.
mhm,
And you learn along the way. Sometimes life going through things is the greatest lesson you can learn in life.
yep,
It's
life
just
experiences. Yep,
it's it gets you to yeah. You're
it
gonna either repeat it or you're gonna hopefully learn from it. But like I
yeah.
said before, I don't have all the answers. I'll get to share what I know, and it's worked. It's
Mhm.
worked. I've seen it work in many people. I've also seen both sides of the coin as well.
Interesting. You mentioned about your book.
Yes.
The a friend of ours, Michael Samayo, and his wife Rita, they have been putting a combination of things together, and it's finally published.
Great.
So he'll be on the podcast next week on the Really Charlie podcast. I'm going to highlight that. Um, and and that's what I'm leading to, is to tell you that that's something that I can't wait to do, and have you on here. And when we talk about your book, or books, I really can't wait for that. I can't wait because, um, before we get you on here, I definitely want to read the book from A to Z. And so I can just basically, throw those questions out and, and do what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
And, so I can't wait for that. So let's talk about the stage that you're at, and anything else you want to kind of add to it.
So the book, I've got I've got one chapter left.
Hmm.
I'll complete that. I'll complete that chapter probably next week and a half. And it's a hard hitting book, but it's a memoir and it's a toolkit.
Hmm.
And I remember getting that specific thing from Kristen was to write. And a lot of times it was kind of like I was putting things together
Yep.
and kind of started to format and put together. But it really goes into why I wrote it, and then it goes into many different chapters. What happened to me? What caused me to do it? Uh, and then go straight into um, the tools that can help people along the way. Proven tools, things that people are doing already. It's got it in one book. I honestly wish I had my book when I first started, because it's
Uh,
you get to be where you're at, absent of people kind of telling you what to do, what should happen. Um, but so it's a really, when I think about all the times I've shared on my Facebook page and I shared all the videos that Liz and I did, um, just trying to help. Like I said, I was the most private person. Wouldn't
yeah.
share a damn thing. It's like I'm not
Hmm.
sharing. Now it's different
Yeah.
because I care less about what people think, and Bessie, to your point of what you were saying, how you sometimes you can certain stages of grief, you could look at people and you're like, well, why don't they do the things you think they should be doing? And it's different for everybody, right? And
Yeah.
so the book's come along very well. I'm very pleased. I would say probably about 45 days out.
All right. Good.
So I want to talk more about it. And yeah, I'm thinking about easily summer release before summer solstice,
Hmm.
which is on the 25th of June, I believe. Yeah, 25th. So you really just get that out there. Listen, over 1 million people I'm going to reach. Whatever it
Can't wait.
takes. Yeah,
Can't
and
wait.
I think it's good because there was nothing out there like that when I first started, and
Yeah.
it's from a non-religious standpoint. Grief was looked at as this. When I read some books, they were good books, but it was more or less it was very broad.
Yeah.
I wanted something narrow. Like, you're gonna feel like this. Guess what? You're gonna feel inadequate. You're gonna feel all these certain things. You're gonna feel lonely. You're gonna feel all these things, and most of the time, you're gonna get some love from folks early on. But people quickly move on with their lives, and you're not.
Mm. Yeah.
That's just real, and that's when every people who wrote about this or talked about this on podcasts. There was plenty of TED talks on grief, especially being this lady was a widow, and she went into all the things that she went through, and it's like, and so it's just different. And then you do have some people who got through things pretty quickly. Even some of the people who were saying how much they really appreciate it for them,
Mm.
right? So you're gonna always get that. You're gonna get some people who love and is genuine. Some people just not genuine. We just know, and they know who they are. I don't need to repeat that, but it's just how it is. I am beyond grateful of some people, and I got to just give some credit. Why always appreciate the love from you. That Five Tribe, they were just amazing. So Five Tribe were like five of our closest friends.
Hmm.
They shared in the love. You saw them, Charlie. You were at the celebration. Like you
Yeah.
saw.
Yeah.
'Em.
Definitely.
Some family members are ones that they show up and like it's always been, and some like it's always been. They have always been true to who and how they are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's uh as much as I was like I thought I was in shock and awe, about looking around and seeing something or seeing some people or not seeing people. And I'm like, why am I in shock? I should know this. I already understand. I already know reasons why. Um, there's some people that are not here, or present in the room, to pay the respects for my art. But I should know already. I already know.
Know how this thing works, man.
Yeah.
It's like if you sometimes when you're just not self-aware, it's about what the hell you can get, man. It truly, it really boils down. What is it I get? I don't have to give a damn thing to anybody. I mean, that's just how it is. But at the same time, you have some people that just show that love. And honestly, I think in some ways on their own evolution scale, that's just kind of where they're at, man. And
Yeah.
they can't do a damn thing about it. That's just how they're wired. It may be
Hmm.
so-called good people, but it's just how it is, man. And I have to give credit to the music community, man. The music community is outstanding. And I shared on Facebook the trophy. I got it right here. I'll share it. Yeah, this trophy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just
And he was
mag-
surprised to put my name on it. And I was like, no, they didn't have to do it right. And honestly, that goes back to that tones and frequencies, and I'll add this thing to it. What people saw was the third iteration of Kristen.
Hmm.
Okay, that was the musician. Was like I get to really express where and what I am, and the alignment was really greater with the music community, right?
Yeah.
So there was that next level of love. When I met Kristen, she wrote on her stomach, it said judge me,
Hmm.
okay? And didn't want to be judged by people. I remember early on was like, please don't judge me. I didn't know what that meant. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And so I get it now. As she was constantly recreating herself and emerging from one level to another, she was like, I don't need that stuff from people. I know how to maneuver through all this stuff. And this is where I feel the music community people more very much in alignment with who and what she became,
Mm.
as opposed to people seeing people of how someone used to be, right?
Yeah.
You're not that anymore. Like I would be at a point where I would stay quiet with things now. I don't have to anymore.
Yeah.
What for? So
So,
I understand what you were saying when you started this conversation. I totally understand. But you get it. You're a very smart man, and you know how things are, man.
yeah, exactly. The
I want to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
That's why I keep saying this thing I've been saying for past year and a half. Just do better, be better. It's that simple.
Yeah.
This is why it's you think about that. How you are can make a difference in this world. No one's coming to save us, man. We get to do the heavy lifting. That could be one person at a time. Put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Put some love in your heart. Tell somebody how great they are. Hey, I noticed this about you. And the reciprocal part of that is how you're going to feel from
Yeah.
that, Ollie.
Yeah. I think if we we meet and greet because we want to. I firmly believe you don't meet and greet because you have to. I really truly believe that because, and I have
Danny Mello
uh,
or two others.
the I firmly believe that even if your job requires you to meet and greet, you really don't have to. You could still make you could still get by a little bit, or fake the funk, um, and push the job onto someone else. All right, or not even put yourself in that position to have a job where someone's going to tell you got to meet and greet. Meeting and greeting people is just something, as you walk, you can look at somebody and nod your head, and they know that that's a hello, right? You could, and you don't have to. You can go down the street and be mean faced it and look at everybody, but you don't.
That was me. Listen, like I said, I don't have myself fully there, and like I said, I don't have all the answers. But man, I remember when it was so funny. We laughed about this for years, man. Early on, and going into the music events and all that, and I kind of had a serious vibe.
Hmm.
She would say, "Smile, smile," and she would say under her breath, and we would just laugh about that years later because it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like that's the whole thing, man. It's like, wow, and like I said, it's a learning lesson, things you learn, but you know, just it feels better. Just
Yeah.
smiling people and just being kind, man. You ask yourself, Charlie, who is the happiest person you know?
Hmm. Let's see. Happiest person I know.
And then tell me who's the funnest person you know.
All right. Let me see. The happiest. Well, I'll say in a group, it's my grandchildren. They're always happy,
Okay.
sad, but they're just happiest. Which could lead to the most fun is, I mean, I think that that would be a group thing, but my most fun is the person that keeps me laughing every single time is my brother Kevin. That dude he just keeps me laughing. He knows what he's doing. He definitely knows that's what I'm looking for. I'm
What
looking
about
for
okay?
I'm looking for a laugh.
Okay,
looking to
I got
have
two more for you.
All right, go ahead.
Most enjoyable and most lovable.
Let's see. All right. In the family, I think the one that's most
Could be
lovable.
anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody.
All right. The most lovable is definitely my wife. She's kind of always reaching out and trying to make sure that things are going right. So you said lovable. Hey, what was the next one?
Enjoyable.
Enjoyable. It's a combination of
Or to others.
man, everybody wants me today, man. Don't they know that it's Marvin Speller time, man? They calling me on my phone. Enjoyable. I would have to say, uh, my grandchildren. They catch me off. They catch me at any point, and all I do is smile and have a great time with them.
So, do you know why I asked you that question?
Yep. What'd she say? Wrong answer. Wife said wrong.
Do you know why I asked you that question?
Yep. No.
Because think about the trajectory and what that would do for you if you were all those things.
Mm.
If you said, I'm the most funnest person I know, I'm the most enjoyable, I'm most lovable, I'm most likable, all these. So you build these attributes about you,
Yep.
and it's like you don't have time for any other crap to kind of squeeze in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you asked me a question earlier. I was like, man, these are the things, man. It's like, am I the most this? And what if you at least attempted that? How would you feel?
Yeah,
Charlie's
feel better.
the most
Feel
likable person. Charlie's the most enjoyable person you like that you know. Imagine if you said that to yourself and you sought out to be that just for
Mhm.
yourself. You got to go
Yeah.
around and tell nobody, right?
Mhm.
So, man, I did this once as I was going through this whole grief journey, right? I was like, if I'm out somewhere and I get something nice, I'm gonna make sure I go tell the manager that This employee was amazing.
Yeah.
So we both benefited from that. I did it because it's the right thing to do. And you think about how much joy you brought. So it looked like somebody was on the verge of they were on the verge of, I don't know, not having the best day, but they were really pushing through and giving me great service and all that. I said, "Excuse me, can I speak to your manager?"
Yeah.
And they went and got the manager. And I embarrassed people from a good standpoint. She loved it. So thank you. You didn't have to do that. And so I did that for a whole week. He's like, man, I felt like I had these building blocks inside of me, right? And this is what I'm saying, right? You benefit the most how you feel. And that's most important.
True.
Because everybody benefits from how Charlie feels.
Yeah.
So Michelle gave you the answer there.
Yeah. That's nice. Which just that subject alone is going to lead to lead to me doing that, as soon as probably, tonight. I definitely should do that more often. And you got to practice what you preach. You're probably already doing it, and that's good.
Not perfect. Long way to go, but
yeah,
at least I'm trying, man. Really.
I have this shirt on, right? It's from a great friend of mine. It says "Figure It Out." Mrs. Yvonne Holtman. She passed away not too long ago, just a few months ago, and she was a teacher at schools, and great mom, great wife, and that's what she would tell everyone she came across. Figure it out. Whether it's kids, in school doing whatever, she would tell them figure out. Her own boys, her boys, actually very, very intelligent people, and they're mentoring many people, and her husband, and that's one thing that she would say is figure it out. And only because people seem to get stuck in their own way, and they can solve a problem, but they're just trying to get the easy way out of it. And you talked about life experiences, right? Now with a great teacher like Yvonne was, and saying figure it out, and then they come back to her and say, Miss Yvonne, I figured it out. That's just a great feeling. I figured it out. Oh my God, it was I did this, I did that, and that goes whether it's at work, community, family, figure it out. And it's so weird. I didn't have this shirt on today. Yeah, earlier. I put it on. I grabbed it, put it on, and I'm like, oh, that's Yvonne shirt. And I'm like, but it goes into what you're saying today.
There are never any
guess what? Some people got to figure it out.
Yeah, they're never. Yeah, you're right. And life is just joyous, man. Even though you go through these peaks and valleys, man, it's just you just learn and expand so much in this life.
Yeah. I've been kind of procrastinating with some of my books, and they have been off the shelf in Amazon. And so earlier I started thinking, I'm like, I got to fix that problem, because like you could put it, you'll put my name, Google it, the books still show up. But as far as my account with the Kindle Direct Publishing, it's all that stuff is gone. So I have to call support and take care of that. I think there were some issues with some images that I use. You know how I do it. I see an image, I write about it. There's a thing about copywriting, and so I have to figure that out. and it's actually it's probably the latest book that I did, the very last one. Um, and so that's not a problem, you know. My words are my words, and the pictures I can eliminate. Just boom,
Hmm.
just and then redo the book. So I gotta actually do that and get that done. I give myself a deadline by Friday to make sure that they are on the shelf and visible on the internet. So that
Poetry, right?
yeah, it's all poetry, all my poetry books, and so I gotta get that done. Um, because I have more. I just come up with some great ideas these past couple of days, and I said, well, I can't push these next things out until I straighten out the old stuff. There's too many books, 15 books. I can't leave them in someone's closet. And as I say,
Mm.
with Amazon, I gotta definitely get that out there. So, but I
Good.
have some great stories that I want to get out there, and you talked about Sinners, right? That is just that movie captivated me so quickly, and it bring out a frequency, a tone, and then it's like, bam! I was like, it, not even real. I know who's in the movie, I know who's there, but it's just that visual is like, boom! It just caught me, um, and I can't wait to see that. Um, I can't wait. I really can't.
I tell
Expect.
you, it's. I can't remember the last time I saw a movie twice.
Hmm.
I saw that movie twice.
Yeah, yeah. There, there's no doubt. I will get into that. I will get into the theater, and I will watch that movie, and I will be so inspired that I will create so much. And the craziest thing is that I'm gonna have to go off of visuals and memory, muscle memory
Mhm.
when I truly wish I had, the video in front of me, the movie in front of me. But I have to wait. I have to wait until they put it out there where you can purchase it, and I can kind of put it on the screen and
Well, man, that might be a while for me to purchase it. I'd say probably summertime. Probably,
yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah.
midsummer. That thing's
So
still rolling.
remember, uh, uh, um, oh my God, Monique played in the movie Precious.
Yeah.
I watched that movie. I got so inspired with so many things in that movie, and it's just boom, boom, boom. I think I wrote 12 different things off of that movie.
Oh
Sinners is
wow.
gonna be
Wow.
Sinners
Oh
is
gosh,
gonna
man.
eh,
You're gonna run out of pages to write, man. I'm telling
oh
you,
yeah.
knowing how lyrical you are, especially and how much of a deep thing is somebody who does poetry has to be someone that's well
Yeah.
thought of on certain things, and you're gonna run out of paper, my man.
I don't care because I think that where those people are coming from, and the special thing, the special and most, I believe it's going to be one of the most creative movies I've seen in the past 5 years, and I can't wait to see it. And so that's going to bring out so much into
Hmm.
me, and so I guarantee you when I'm finally done watching that and seeing that, I will probably create a book that week,
Yeah,
about
yeah.
25 poems, and
This is what I'm saying, and so you're going back to that was the theme of what we're saying, and you understand the like tones of frequency and vibrations and how they're all connected in certain ways and really what they are. Man, you're gonna be so inspired, especially you. I mean,
mhm.
oh gosh, man,
Thank you,
I
thank
can't
you.
wait to hear your insight on that.
Oh, I can't. It's I can't wait to see it. This weekend's kind of busy, so but I think next week, it's definitely gonna be. I'm gonna make Michelle buy all the popcorn, but I'll get her in the movie. The so the this was great, and next week we're gonna be back on here at the same time.
Same
Um,
bat time.
and as you're going through your week and you're creating something and you want to talk and discuss something, let me know.
Sure.
This is Go ahead.
We'll introduce Melissa next week.
Okay, yep, that's right. All right. So
Right.
yep. She don't
But
show
yeah,
up.
I'm glad, and hours go by quick because you know how it is, man. It goes fast when you're having a good time, right?
Yeah, yeah, we definitely I think of um remember your sister-in-law's get together at her house, and
Oh man, so much fun, right?
yeah, that time went by so quick.
I know, I know.
Thinking about, especially when we're traveling back, and I'm like, man, it went by quick. But that was so important to me, right? Because that's the first time we physically
Yeah,
hugged and grabbed each other and looked at each other face to face and say, yeah, this is the guy. I knew he was special, and I was
thank
glad to be there, and so but it flies by.
you. I
I
know.
actually um with I think we got to talk this week about that amazing picture of Kristen on the railroad tracks.
Mm,
Um, and I definitely that is something that's one of my favorite pictures of her.
mm.
But it says so much.
Oh yeah,
And
you know it's you don't can't buy more time.
mm, mm,
Enjoy your time,
yeah,
and so can't wait to do. Got to just do. So
yeah,
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 that's what I'm learning, man. I think about wow, my days just fly by now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, just think, we canceled last week's show, and then here we are, boom, right? It's
You know, it seemed like we were just talking.
yeah, yeah. So, um, all right, my brother, we at that hour, and
Okay.
just remember, when we're not scripted to an hour, man. We can always go longer. So I don't want you to ever feel that I'm taking, I gotta go do something. When we're on
No,
this podcast and you want to continue, we continue, and continue to do things, um, because it could be me, you, and two others, and guess what? We're all talking, we're getting into good conversation. Why stop rolling the camera? Just let it go, and keep talking about what we're talking, because um, we never know who's listening, who's looking, who's viewing us,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be next week's gonna be great. It's gonna be
Mhm.
interesting because there's a lot we're gonna be able to cover, and really, I'm glad we did go into the tones and frequency, just the kind of frequency and vibration of things, which
Cool.
is everything.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then we'll talk a little bit more about my book next week.
okay.
Yeah, so we'll do that, and we'll talk to Melissa and get her thoughts. And you met her husband Renee, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Great man, great kids.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
they're almost young men.
yeah,
They were kids and they're growing up pretty good. And
doing big things, and um, yeah, those two great people. Melissa, you know, you knew Dave.
yeah, I did. Craziest thing is,
That family they're just all amazing people, man.
yeah, Dave was we met years, as we were younger, and then it's crazy how we gotten closer through social media when it really started.
Hmm.
Like, you know, back in the day, it was like hi, goodbye, what's up, how you doing, nothing really, not really a whole lot of substance in the conversation. And then social media starts, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, remember this, dude? And things are definitely, I got closer to him through social media. And
Dave, yeah, I mean Dave was very sad when he passes as well. He's
mhm,
somebody, the vibration I got from him is kind of vibration I got. You know how you just deal with people, you just feel like, oh man, they're cool, they're great people and all that. That was my vibration when I met you, still is, and just going on. Dave was just that, people you can just kick it with. You feel that sincerity with them when you talk to them and you just build with them and all
yeah,
that was Dave and that family. So I
yeah,
have nothing but love for all of them.
exactly. Back at you, brother. You definitely our 5-star Marvin Speller, Coach M100. You know the all right. I'll actually I'm not even gonna ask Melissa for a picture. I'll create some reels this week.
Oh, I have one. She sent me one.
Oh, she did. See,
I'll send it
I
to you.
was I was assuming that, like, no, seeing it, all women are with their pictures. They'll be
No,
like,
I'll shoot it to you, brother.
all right. So when you do that, then I'll create a reel. Most likely on Sunday at some point, and then constantly play it until Wednesday.
Okay, cool.
All
Thanks,
right,
everyone.
man.
Okay,
Love you, bro.
love you,
Take
man.
care.
Okay,
Call me anytime. All right.
thanks, brother.
God bless. Yeah. All right, everyone. Don't forget, add WNB1 radio to your devices, Apple and Android. There's the logo above my head, WNB1 radio. Please add it to your devices 24 hours, 7 days out of the week. And don't forget about the address is 262 Union Street, New Bedford, Mass. And the website is WNB1.com. WNB1.com, right there on the bottom screen. Check the website out. There's podcast shows. There's just so many things, but nonstop music, 24 hours, 7 days out of the week. We may be at home, you may jump in the car, but guess what? WNB1 radio goes everywhere. So you can listen to us all the time. Want to give a shout out to Edward Blends. I see you in the comment section. Hello, brother. I hope all is well. And definitely got to get you on Really Charlie podcast one day. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Facebook Live, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Went back to LinkedIn. I am so glad I got a good reception about coming back on the LinkedIn site and leaving the podcast up there. Many, many impressions. So you guys on LinkedIn have definitely been special. I appreciate you. YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel, Really Charlie Podcast, and on Facebook. You know the deal. You want to come on the show, just let us know. This is called Sometimes You Have to Lose Yourself podcast. And you want to be on here, tell a story, please come on, get in touch with myself or Marvin, and we will definitely get you on there. Next week, Melissa. Our friend Melissa is going to be on here. She is definitely a licensed professional, and she has some things she wants to teach us. So I can't wait. I'm not going to spoil it. I would be advertising and marketing the podcast this weekend. Take care. God bless, and I will see you guys next week. Yep, next week. Take care.